Have no fear. I'm getting better at this. Figuring out that doesn't open for me. There we go. Hey, Dawn. Can you see me and hear me? Yay! Okay, cool. All right. I guess I'm going to keep my computer here for a second because I gotta turn it around. All right, accept this kind of okay, accept. All right, you guys. Kind of smooth going. Hey, Christy, good to see you on. Tonight I am going to step it up again. I was going to do the same layout, paper and everything like I've been doing to show you how you can step up and get 3 looks from the same card, but I thought that might be getting a little boring to see the same thing. So I've got the same like layout. I'm shaking up the paper and stuff. So you'll see 3 different cards, but it's kind of the same idea. And actually, now that I think about it, it's not the second card that I did. I did something totally different than I had started out to do, and I just realized that, but that's okay. So we've just got 3 different ways to use the Filled with Happiness stamp set, as I put in the description. I don't know how much of it fit. This is a pretty simple stamp set. I may do a class, like a beginner class. With this stamp set, it's very simple, but it's beautiful for note cards, for just a quick card. Minimal stamping from it, but you pair it with the modern oval punch, which I left over on the counter, and it really jazzes it up. So I'm going to show you some cards with that tonight. I guess I'm going to plug myself while I got some people listening. And for those on the replay, they can hear it. I was looking through my Facebook information, and of course, I understand that people see this and then they like stop and they scroll, and that's what happens and whatnot. But I need people to watch just a little bit longer or stop more than like, it says I got a huge chunk that averages like 3 to 5 seconds. And that's not even my, hey, it's Jill Blanchette from Green Thumb Stampers. So I know that they're scrolling by, but for anybody who does stop, and maybe if you're not interested, just mute me and play me in the background, so that Facebook thinks that people are watching a little bit longer than what they are. It's telling me that I need to figure out how to get people to watch longer so that they will show it to more people. And you're not going to watch longer when I have to disappear, but I got to get my punch. I looked over my desk a couple of times and totally walked away. So here's the punch that you can't really see it. Here's the punch, modern oval punch. That's the one that goes with that set, and that's what we're going to be using. So oh, hi Holly. Christy's on, Mom. Oh, Kathy must be on. Everybody's saying hi to Kathy. I didn't see Kathy come on. So she came on when I went over to my desk. So that's it, guys. It's just my little plug for myself. I had somebody share me, and I grew like crazy last weekend. So that was awesome. If I could just keep it going, and we'll be good. So I'm going to turn my camera down and get showing you guys what I got, so I don't keep you here all night long. Okay, so we got my desktop, I got my shadows, you guys. I unplugged one of the lights up in the ceiling. I pulled the bulb down so I don't get the shadow like I did, and I could turn the rest of my lights on so that it doesn't look quite as dark in the background, like I'm in a cave. So I liked that. And that was kind of a quick little solution for that. So, okay, let's see. I got to turn my camera down. I got to come back over here. Remove spotlight. Now you should be on my desktop. We're going to spotlight it. So we are down. This is an F, and that is my hostess code if anybody needs it to purchase anything. This stamp set filled with happiness and the punch are only $42. So if you add in a pack of gems, let's say like these, that will be $8. That'll bring you to $50. You can get the paper that I'm going to use tonight as your free celebration item. And this is really cool paper. I didn't open it all the way up. It's called Happy or Sunny Days. Sorry. So it's got these flowers on one side, rainbows on the other, cherries, and this hash mark. And on one of the cards, I thought it would be kind of cute to use this cherry. Let me show you. And turn these into lemons and then use our I'm pretty sure the set Christy will remember the name of it, with the tablecloth and the pitcher, and it had the cups and stuff, and the straw with the little cup. I thought it'd be cute to make a little cup of like cherry lemonade. And then it's a good day to have a good day, and that maybe someone would get my life is a bowl of cherries, make lemonade if you get lemons, that kind of a reference to it. But in my head it worked, but I didn't do that. There's this paper is one with a petal pink back to it. Let me see what else we got. I used almost all of them. Isn't this one cool? I used that one on one of the cards with like sunbursts on the back. Lemonade. Was that the name of the stamp set? But yes, we did make lemonade and stuff with it. And then there's these clouds and some rain and clouds on the other side. All I can think of is Cheers to You, and I know it's not Cheers to You because that's the beer set. And then there's this one. Look at how cute this one is. Some strawberries. Isn't that cute? On the back of that is butterflies. I didn't use the butterflies. I should have used the butterflies today, but I didn't use butterflies. So that's the paper. I just wanted to show you the whole pattern because the celebration catalog, you might not get that. So that is the freebie paper, Sunny Days, that you could get with a $50 order. So let's get started. I brought my little bucket. So here's the first card that we're going to make. Very simple, very easy, so refreshing. Yes, Holly, that's the name of it. And Christy, yep. So it's, like I said, it's very easy, very simple. We're going to use a half sheet of Lost Lagoon, and it is 8.5 by 5.5. You can score it a 4 1/4 or fold it in half and burnish on your score line. I spent all this time goofing around thinking I was ready. You know how I always do that. And I didn't write down all my measurements. So try and use my little glass mat and help me. So this one's 2 3/4 by 5 1/4 in basic gray. And we're going to put on top of that, this should be 2.5 by 5 of the clouds. We're going to glue that right on top. I filled my glue bottle right before I forgot. I squeezed that a little hard. Look at all that glue that came out. Did not need to squeeze it that hard because actually I had to dump some of it out. I had put right to the tip tippy top. All right. Now, I did cut to the quarter tonight. Feel free to cut on the 8th if you'd like. I'm going to glue this on now. This is a pretty straightforward. Doesn't use very many supplies kind of card. Any paper works, obviously. I just wanted to, since I decided to shake up the cards, I wanted to shake up the paper in that pack. Had enough different designs in it to use. So this one is 2 3/4 by 3.5 in basic gray. And then I've got 2.5 by 3.25 Lost Lagoon. And I've got my basic gray. Thanks, Holly. Basic gray ink. And we are going to use It's a Good Day to Have a Good Day. So I'm going to show you what I've been trying to do today. And if we ink up the whole stamp, we're going to get, I don't have that size block over here, Jill. What is going on? You're going to get all this in the middle that you don't need, but we're going to cover it up here. So it's not really going to matter. But I was trying out, somebody told me in I think it was a training video, not to put your ink in your stamp because you get too much ink to put your stamp in your ink. Don't do it this way because then you can goob it all up. To take your stamp pad and put it to the stamp. So that's what I tried today. And I'm just going to try and also just dab around the outside the best that I can because I don't really need all that inside. But for sake of, life and all that stuff, go ahead and stamp the whole thing. And then look, my block's so big that I got it all over the block. And I didn't get It's a Good Day. So you know what? I'm just going to do the whole thing right now because I don't have time for errors. We're going to stamp that down. You know what else I don't have time for? To clean. I did not bring my cleaning cloth. Okay, so it's a good day to have a good day. You gotta get it though. Because we're going to use the stamps over and over again. So I'm going to use the glass mat cloth because the other one needs to get some extra water on it. So we're going to use that. So now we've got that done. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue those two together. And do not squeeze the glue bottle. Just kind of center that on there. Best I can. I glued it flat. You could pop this one up if you wanted, but I glued it flat and I'm gonna eyeball my center. Here. And then now I've got the rainbow paper. And in my head, this is kind of, it's a good day to have a good day. And this looks like cloudy, the colors, a cloudy day. So I picked the rainbows to go in the center. So let's see if I can, want to get the most of the rainbows that we can't. Let them be seen for rainbows. And then I'm going to put some dimensional on the back of that. Pop it up. And then we're just going to pop that over the top of the center. like that. And then for the inside, I've got a 5.25 by 4 whisper white, basic white, whisper white, white anyway. And we'll glue that on as close as we can to center. And then if you cut crooked, you know, you might not even get it on there. Okay. Then I took a little tiny strip of the rainbows, about a 1/2 inch wide and 5.25 inches long. And I'm just going to stick it on the side of the paper on the inside, just to give a little something on the inside. Is Debbie on? Is Debbie Green's on? Hi, Debbie. Hi, Brett. And then also on this one, I just thought I'd step it up a little bit. This is pretty much, you know, can be done right there, but I thought that I would add a few of just these gems on, and they're the clear ones. And I'm just going to use the tiny ones and stick a few of them on here. My other ones that I used on this card were something old that I only had like 6 of. So I found these from when I was cutting for Sunday's cards, and because we used them and I had them sitting around. Well, we didn't use them. We are going to use them. And I still had them sitting on my desk. So now that card is done. Actually, those could even be like little raindrops, I suppose, if you wanted to think of it that way. But that's our first card. So run-of-the-mill basic card. And then to step it up a smidge, we've got this version. And then it's going to pop open in the middle. And like I said, originally this was going to look like that other one, but open a little differently. And then I said, no, I'm going to turn it sideways. And now I totally changed up the look there. But, you know, it all works just fine. So let's see if I got all my pieces and parts here. So this one is an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of Poppy Parade. And I'm going to cut that first so that we know what we got going. So we're going to go ahead and score it at 4.25. And then we're going to cut on the one, pretty sure it's 1.5. So let me measure that. Pretty sure. Oh, 1.25. Good thing I looked. We're going to cut that on the 1.25 up to our 4.5. Why is that not 4.5? This is not 4.5. Get my head back in the game here. We're going to score that up to 4.25. And so we can see our score line. And that'll also help us know when to stop. And then we're going to come on this side at 1.25. And we're going to cut that up to the score line at 4.25. So now we've got these pieces all flopping around there. I have 2 petal pink pieces that are 1 inch wide by 4 inches long. And I cut these on the 8th. So they're 1 1/8 by 4 1/8. So I'm going to glue those down. Here. Let me make sure I'm on camera. Am I on camera? I'm going to push it up a little bit. So we're going to glue those two down. I did zoom in a little bit. Take this out of the way so I got more space up here to. Okay. Then we've got two pieces of the flower pattern that are 1 by 4. I'm going to go ahead and glue those on. Here. Well, thanks, guys. Glad you like it. Oh, who said hi, Jill and all? Somebody get on that I didn't see? Oh, Debbie. Debbie Schmucker Green. Haven't seen Debbie in a while. Probably pooped out from being back to school. Although I'm thinking school's been canceled again a couple days this week, hasn't it, Debbie? With the freezing rain and stuff? I can't keep up. If I don't turn the TV on, I don't see it, but I think of her. All right. So now we're going to flip our card over. And I have, this opening should be 3 inches. So I made my paper just a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to glue one of these guys down. I'm going to fold it down and glue it shut. And then I'm going to take my, this is 3 inches wide, but it's just a smidgen short. So it should be about 4 1/8. And then I'm just going to glue that in there. And then just so that I know I had enough and this one's butted up and not going to show, I can now glue this side shut. So go ahead and glue that down. Now we've got just our little flapper-do there in the middle. And I have I did not layer this one with pink first. I'm just going to layer the Poppy Parade piece down. And that one is just on the 1/8 again. So I'm like 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And I'm going to glue it down. And I'll try and use these over here as my guide. So at least they're all even across the bottom. And then I've got a petal pink. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that first before I proceed. And we're going to use the Happy Birthday. May it be filled with happiness. And how can I lose that giant block right here in front of me? Oh, because I put it down on the cart. And these are, I end up like peeling them off like that they stick pretty darn good. And again, if we want, you could just try and tap around the outside. And this would work too in case you are going to do something else on the inside. I did tap it though on a few spots I can see. Let's see how many. So not too bad for the extra spots. And it is just a little thing I was trying to show you that you can do. You don't Oops, I'm gonna need that again. Put this away. Then I'm gonna take my Petal Pink ink and a blender brush. And I'm just going to ink up the edges. I thought it just needed to be broke up a little bit on the Poppy Parade, so it didn't look like it was kind of just sitting there. This will break it up and give it a little bit of contrast and depth on top of this paper. Get some on the bottom. Like that. Very subtle, but just a little something you can do. So now I'm going to glue this one on flat. No school Friday. Why no school Friday, Deb? Just a scheduled day already? Thanks, Mom. All right, so I glued that on flat. Glad you guys like these. Guys kind of thrilled, I'll bet. And then we've got a white scrap. And we are going to stamp with our, I'm going to use basic gray. No, I'm not. I'm going to use Memento because I am going to use my blends on this one. And so I don't want the ink to run. So let's get this back on the block. We just need the inside of this one. And the punch does make a border, so make sure you do have a little bit of space around it. And then I'll go ahead and color it in. And I did, because one of the coordinating colors was shaded spruce. I used that. Not so sure it's my favorite color here. I'm just going to try and, looks a little dark to me. I could have picked olive or something maybe that would have went okay too. I was trying to leave a little bit of white in there just to help break it up. All right, so we've got shaded spruce. I got my Poppy Parade for the little berries. And I'm just going to color them in real quick. And then this bird. I've got my dark smoky slate. Thinking I'm going to do them a little bit different than my other one. This. And then I got my light smoky slate. And I'm just gonna color them in like that. Then we've got our punch. He punches sideways for these images. Center that in there. And set that aside. And then I popped it up in the center. It's gonna I'm glad, Holly. They're really fun. They're not hard. And I cut my card so that I knew how wide I wanted this to be. If you have a slimmer image or something, you can make these wider. But I then added in a bow. The resident creative director said the bow made it harder to read and didn't really add anything. But we're going to add it again anyway. Just because, and this is the old, the retired polka dotted ribbon. Let's see if I can get just a little bow out of here. Don't need a very big one. And I gotta unfold because I folded that in half. Gotta unfold it. And we're gonna call that good. Here. Oh, you guys, also you can let me know. I got that microphone thing I've been trying to use. And maybe as I'm leaning in like this, I'm leaning in to look, maybe let me know if it's too loud for that. I can change positions of where I put the microphone. Because when I lean in like this, my mouth is pretty much right over it. And I'm not lowering my voice at all. So just let me know. Let me know. Give me tips. Help me know what's happening, what's working good and what's not. But I like the little microphone because it helps me connect differently. I'm going to put some pop dots, or not pop dots, but the little glue dot on the back of the bow. And then I'm going to put one on I guess the bow part. I don't know what else to call it. The loop. So I'm going to stick that there, and then the one on the little loop I'll put up here so that the bow stays in place. Oh, and I got it on my finger. Did it even stay there? No. Came off on my finger. And now we're calling it done. So there's our second card. Put a sentiment inside or another piece of paper, but I thought with the paper on the sides, it didn't need anything else in the inside for a decoration. But you could obviously put sentiment inside. So there's our second card. And our third card. And so here's our third card. That one opens up and out. Okay. Okay. Let's get this one started. We'll get all my pieces and parts out here. I'm going to go slow for a second while I refresh in my brain what I'm doing. So we've got, this card is an 11 by 4 1/4. We're going to go ahead and let me, just for my own sanity, I'm going to measure that. We want that 2 3/4 inches wide, 2 3/4. So 2 3/4. Okay. So we're going to go with, we need that to be what, 1 1/2. So we want to cut this card or fold this card at 5.5. And so we're going to score it at 5.5. I can't see. You guys, I figured this out the other day. If I stick a little piece of paper in there, look at how my ruler comes to life. And I've seen people before put something in there on it, and I might have to do that because man, that just came right to life. So we want 1.5 inches of this cut and the rest scored. So I'm going to go from 4.25, 3.25 to 2 3/4 cut. And then we're going to score the rest. And then we're going to cut that off 2 3/4. We're going to cut up to 5.5. Or till you feel your piece release, which is 5.5. So now we can go ahead and burnish that fold for our first flap. And we're going to go ahead and build on that. So that's 2 3/4. And then I went down on the 8 to 2 5/8 by 5 3/8. Glue that on. Can't wait to make them. Can't wait for you to show us when you make them. Sharon, maybe you're going to make those this weekend. Then we've got a white layer that is 2.5 by 5.25. Oops. Put that one on. And then we've got our designer series paper that is 2 3/8 by 5 1/8. Glue that one down. Sure, I'm going to glue that one down. Just to cut that one crooked. Okay, now we've got this flap done. Now we're going to work on the next side. So this piece, you need a basic black, and I just was keeping it with the base. So we want from here to here to be 4 inches by 3.5. So I went to 4.25 inches and scored it at the 1/4. So go ahead and burnish your fold at 1/4 and glue that in place. Now we want to make sure it's kind of centered on there. So let's see if we put our, we got 1 2 3 1 2 4 there, 1 2 3 4. Yep. So if we go right about there, we should be pretty close to center, and then I move it and mess it all up. But I wanted to pinch it so that it shuts good. And also then you can make sure that you're not hanging off the back, that you've got it just in the lined up evenly. And you're not gluing it to the back. Well, you could if you wanted, but I glued it to the inside like that. Now on this piece, I just cut two pieces at 3 3/8. And I'm going to glue them on here because there's no sense in wasting our paper. We all have a bunch of scraps sitting around. So rather than use that whole piece and you're not going to see it, I went with two scrap pieces that I had, and I just cut them to the right length. So I got 3 3/8, and you can make them, you know, however wide you want, because you don't really probably have to have this piece here as wide as I have it. That's where your creativity can come to play, and you can mess around with your dimensions. Okay, so I've just glued those on as if the piece is whole going across there. Then my top layer over that is going to be 3.5 by 4 1/4. And then this one is on the 1/8 again. So we got 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. I'm going to glue that on. So I got a sweatshirt on and my nose is starting to run because it's hot in these lights. And I thought about that earlier, that I needed to change into a shirt. And I didn't. That's all right. All right, I need to pull that down a smidgy. There we go. Oops. Probably off. All right. Now that I got all my glue off on my fingers, let's glue it back down. Okay. Then we're going to glue this piece over this one. So I'm just going to put the glue between here because I know it will be okay. You can go a little bit over onto that one if you would like, because you know it's going to cover up most of it. So I'm trying to make sure I've got the right amount, top and bottom if I can, left and right if I can, without taking too much time, because we all know the glue likes to dry before we're always ready or not. Hey, Janice, thank you. Yes, Christy, there's not a lot of stamping necessarily either for the ladies at the senior center if they need a quicker card to get done with. All right, so then I'm going to take my inside piece that is, all right, what I'm going to do, you guys, I'm going to tell you my little secret. I cut these a little smaller than, or they should be maybe a little bit wider. I was going to center it on here. So this is like 4 by 5 1/4. I guess I could do it. I didn't like this seam showing so much, so I wanted to move it over, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna put it right where it's intended. So forget I even said that. I think my other one, I was trying to cover up some areas and see what it was gonna do. So I'm gonna glue this one right in the center because this one doesn't look bad. If for some reason this bit looks bad to your eye, slide it over, and I'll show you what I did in here. I slid it over and way over, but then I added the piece of designer paper to the left side so that it, oh, that's what it was. And you can't see it because I moved it. I tore this off after I glued it on and moved it up, and I tore the paper. And you know how if you ever tear a card apart, you tear the cardstock sometimes around where it was glued. Well, that's what I did, but I moved it over And then I used this designer paper to cover this little bit extra gap in the card. But this one, we can just glue that on, or we can leave it off. I think I'm still going to glue it on. I'm just going to cut it off here rather than measuring, because that's how I feel like rolling right now. Living on the edge. That's me, living on the edge. We're just going to stick that on here. And then now we'll come back to the outside. I've got a basic black at 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. I'm going to hit it with my embossing buddy. I have the worst luck with white embossing powder. It sticks to everything but where I really want it to. So I just got to be careful and remember to use the embossing buddy so that it clears it off. Or doesn't stick on there. So let me wipe my block off because I'm going to switch over to Versamark. And probably, let's see if I can get just the words on this one better than, because I really don't want to emboss the center part if I can help it. All right. And this one helps because it's a new juicy one. So we're going to stick that right in the center. Looks good. Oop, did get a little bit, either that's wet or I hit it with the, and now I just got my white powder, which I read on the leaderboard that the embossing powder, the basics pack, has been sort of like, it was out of stock and then somebody said that it was discontinued. So I don't know why, because it's the only white one and black, and I forget the other color that comes in it. It's the only one that they sell that has those colors in it. So it's got to be coming back in some way, shape, or form. So if you needed some and you didn't get it, or you're waiting because it was on back order or out of stock, have no fear. It should be back. I went and did that again because it wasn't everywhere that I needed it. So now I'm going to heat this up with my heat tool. One of the beauties of the glass mat is it can withstand the heat tool. Not that we want to heat on it if we can help it, but as I was doing it and realized it's probably going to be too hot, I'm going to heat those places that I got. Now that spot could be warmer than what I want, but we're good to go. We're going to go ahead now and glue this on flat to the center. That to the center. Does that look center? We got glue over there. It's because I got it so full. It's shooting everywhere. All right, I'm going to eyeball it right there. Glue that down like that. Hope that's sticking okay. Now we need to clean this off again. Get our Versamark off. And then now we need to get the inside with the bird again. And I am only using the bird again because like he's there and the lemons don't really pop my twitzel, as Reed would say. But if you had something else that you could put in there, if you have some of these flowers, like a stamp of these flowers, the old poppy stamp, or just something, and you didn't have this gunk, or you could make one of these in another color and pop it up and then put your flower or something over the top, or just stamp something different. But I'm just showing you this because that's the stamp set that I'm using. But it's very versatile to put whatever you want in this punched area. Stamp that down. And then this one, I'm not sure if I like my bird all that same color or not. But I came through with my crushed curry because that's one of the colors in the paper. And you'll see it in the center of the flowers on this paper. So I pulled out the crushed curry marker to give my leaves a little bit of non-leafy color, but still matches. There we go. And then I colored my bird with just the marker, but I think I need to use my blends. And I think I'm not even sure I like the bird this all one color. He should probably be a different color on the top, maybe like a brown or the gray or something. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I'm going to color the top of his head blue. Let's get the gray out. Let's just see. Okay, not so much, but put a little bit of gray in. And maybe if I used yeah, you could see my blue running. That side of this marker is very alcohol induced. So let me get that blue just one more time and try and blend that in a little bit. All right, we're stopping there. You know what kind of bird it is? It's a phoenix. It's a, who knows what kind of bird. So now I'm going to punch this out real quick and stick it on. And then I'll finish it off. It doesn't want to go in there. There we go. Okay. Hold your breath while you punch. It's always a good process to follow. All right. Got back on that. Well, I'll bet it is a swallow. Not my blue winged swallow. All right, so I glued that on flat. And then you guys don't have, well, maybe you have these, but Stampin' Up, I don't have them in the enamels. Remember a couple weeks ago I used my enamel. I don't remember what I used it on, but I have these Nouveau drops, so that's what I'm using. But Stampin' Up does have a pack of enamel with red in it. But this hopefully didn't dry up well. It wants to keep plugging up on me every time I stop using it. It's pretty old. I don't use it very much. And so I'm going to... No, I'm not, you guys, because it's saying that's not Stampin' Up. You're not going to use me. And the last time there we get some, forced it out was my black, and it went everywhere. It blew out, and it was horrible. So you go down and up, and it should make the little like top on it. I'll call it like the Hershey Kiss kind of thing. If you go up, it should finish it off without an air bubble or anything in there. So that's all I'm doing to finish off my berries on this like stepped up card. You could just use it again with the marker like I did on the other one, which I'm going to come in and do these little tiny ones. I can't get those drops to go that tiny. There. And that is our last card. Those drops will take a little bit to dry. But there we go. 3 cards, like I said, with this simple stamp set. And then we can step it up. Get all the cards that we made again. And we made it 3 different cards. From super basic to a little bit more to, I don't want to say over the top, but for some people this would be, you know, way more work than they want to put into it. And others, it's touching the surface of what they like to do. So there you go, guys. I appreciate you watching again this week. Again, I'm going to ask you, if you run across these videos, if you would be so ever grateful, or I would be ever so grateful, if you would go ahead and just let it play for a couple minutes in the background, turn the sound off, do whatever, and then that will tell Facebook that I am here and I am trying and I do want people to watch me, and then they'll show more people. That is it, you guys. I'll be back tomorrow night. Catch me tomorrow night with our Christmas card. So until then, you guys have a great rest of the day. Enjoy tomorrow, and I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 7. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everybody.